Sori.
That's Booby.
And Culpy and Chip.
All right, new metal week.
Yep.
I keep saying this song is the epitome of new metal. This song is the epitome of new metal. This song.
You need to save that till the end.
Linkin Park, One Step Closer. That we're doing the entire week dedicated to that period from 1997 to 2004, 5-ish, where new metal reigned supreme. Allahu Akbar. Oh gosh. So this band became my brother's favorite band. I was the corn kid.
Older or younger?
Younger. Older brother than Lisa. I was the corn kid, and Jamie, like, Linkin Park was, like, that was the band he chose to hitch his wagon to.
Okay.
And, you know, Linkin Park came out, they had a rapper and a singer, like, separately.
Okay.
Which was different. Because, you know, at the time, you know, you saw, like, Limp Bizkit, he would rap and sing, and Jonathan would rap and sing, and Corey would rap and sing, but Linkin Park had a separate rapper and a separate singer, and then they had to find a way to combine, and hence the name of the title was called Hybrid Theory, was because they had to find a way to, you know, connect both of them, and they did. They absolutely figured it out, and they did it. You know, I wasn't a very big fan of Linkin Park, like, you know, Chester came up with the blonde hair, and he was just too pretty.
Oh.
He was just too pretty. He had short hair, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, nah. You know what I mean? And then they had the rapper, and like the guy was always smiling. He never looked miserable. Even in this video, like you'll see it, like he's smiling in the video, like. And of course, if you just got a record deal and you're about to become a world famous band, you should be smiling. But at the time, you know, like new metal was about being miserable, about, you know, being reflective of your own emotions and all that. And so to see somebody just going in there and smiling was like crazy to me. I was like, okay, these dudes aren't suffering. You know what I mean?
Not
like,
enough misery.
Yeah. There isn't enough misery here. So to me, I was like, man, you know, these guys aren't really suffering that bad. So I'm gonna play the we're going to still use the lyric video, but I'm going to, you know, play this along with it so that you can kind of see that, you know, what was going on. But anyway, it is Linkin Park, One Step Closer. I remember seeing this at like 3 in the morning for the first time. And it starts off with this hoodie thing. And I was like, oh, wow, this is about to be some shit. Okay. And then I saw Mike Shinoda smiling through the whole video, so I was like, that was it for me. I was that petty and small-minded. That was the end of Linkin Park. Okay. Yeah. One Step Closer. Let's do it.
Go.
Shut up! Shut up!
Well, I didn't see the guy smiling and all that.
I wasn't smiling. I don't know what I was talking about. But I just didn't like
you, what the heck? So you just made this giant assumption?
Oh yeah, I just didn't feel like they were like really legit. I didn't really feel like they were really suffering. Now,
I mean,
obviously,
I can see the blonde hair.
Of course, Chester was legitimately suffering, obviously, and you know, but you know, when you're 14, 15 years old, I mean, that's how you make decisions. You know what I mean? Like
you.
Well, anybody, like what 14-year-old sits and thinks stuff through? You know, it's like. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just because he's got a good haircut doesn't mean he's not suffering, V. Like, he could really be in a lot of inner turmoil. Nah, he couldn't be.
Yeah.
Nobody that's attractive and blonde and spends that much time on their hair is really suffering.
Time on their...
Like, that's how you think when you're a teenager.
Yeah, I'm not like that. I'm like, how did the song affect me?
That's how you look at it.
Yeah. I don't care...
You don't care if they're really suffering.
If it's a dumb video, I just won't watch the video.
Yeah, but see, new metal wasn't just that. It was also your connection to the artist. It really, really was. And I really think I really believe that started with Jonathan because of Daddy and just how much of himself he put out there that everybody kind of became like attached to a person. You know, and it happens in other forms of metal, but you never hear about James Hetfield crying over his mother. Like, you don't see that. So you still relate to him and love him, but you don't really feel like you know them like you did with new metal. So new metal had just as much to do with your connection to the artist as it did with the actual art itself. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, that was kind of, well, at least... Maybe that wasn't what new metal was about, but that's what it was about for me. It was about how much I felt like that I could relate to that person or that person could relate to me. And to me, Chester, my perception of Chester was he was just a pretty boy, and then Mike Shinoda, you know, like I was like, oh man, these guys aren't legitimately suffering. But that middle, you know, the shut up when I'm talking to you, like that was also a big staple of new metal, was like the middle where you would slow it down and then you would repeat a phrase and jump around. Yeah. Like, again, that's something...
Yeah, you see these repetitive...
But it was like you would slow it down in the middle and then you would do some rising action so that like you got really, really, really hyped. And Korn, in my opinion, really, really started that style in music. Like, they had... this song called Good God on their first record, where you got to the middle and it was like, fuck you, I'm fed up with you, not as good as you, fuck you, I'm better than you, and then it was nothing, and then they did like a single, you know, string palm mute, and then they would just open up and you know, so like that, and we haven't seen a lot of that. Well, it was kind of the same thing with break stuff, right? Like, it was like in the middle, my suggestion, keep your distance, and then blah, give me something to break, give me something. You know, so that was also part of new metal. That's actually my favorite part of new metal, like those middles where it would just like, you would just go crazy and you're like, ah! Like, you don't really see that in regular metal.
I've seen it like with Korn, like where they start out like that slow and quiet, and then it keeps building and building and building, and then it just explodes. Yeah. I do like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I got my guitar, like that's all we did was just a bunch of those middles with a bunch of rising action. It's so cheap, but it works every single time. You know, like shut up when I'm talking to you. Like, that's not a very impactful lyric, but because of the way they did it, it's like, yeah, shut up. Yeah. Like, I don't want to hear nothing you have to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, those are the days. But yeah, I mean, this is actually a good song. It's actually a good song. It was just, you know, and you know, it was all part of it. You know, we go to Slipknot concerts and stuff, and they'd be like, "Oh, you like Linkin Park? Ha ha ha!" You know, like they're not as heavy as we are. You know? Yeah,
that's weird because you know, obviously, you know, my story, I didn't come up with music and stuff, but I do remember, Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit being like people. I didn't know anything about any of the music, but them just kind of like putting them like.
Yeah, Linkin Park Limp Bizkit was because of Fred Durst. You know, like people just couldn't countenance liking anything that Fred Durst did. The Linkin Park had the most commercial success out of any of the new metal bands.
Oh, really?
It wasn't even close.
Really?
Like 10-1, they had the most commercial success, and so
more than Korn.
Oh, not even. It wasn't even close. They were commercially the most successful band in a very, very, very long time. So automatically, if you were into metal, you couldn't like Linkin Park anymore because they were taken over by the mainstream. And so you just couldn't like them anymore. You know, but you know, it was all elitist bullshit. That's all it was because like this is a good song and it's a good new metal song. It's just I didn't buy it, and now obviously it turns out that Chester was more tormented than anybody.
Right.
So it's just your own stupid, you know, arithmetic. When you're young, you think you know everything, and you know, you think you know what a real. It's just like in the hood where you assume, oh, this dude's a real gangster, and you know he's really soft, and then you're like, oh, this guy is soft because he can put together, you know, a couple phrases in the English language in a coherent manner. So you're gonna think that the guy is soft, and then you made a mistake. See what I'm saying? So that's the same thing with this. It's like, oh, he's not really suffering. He's not really, you know, he has it all. And, you know, how old were they? 19, 20, 21? When it's like, oh, you had such a hard time being you know, what it turns out the guy was under tremendous pain and suffering. And depression doesn't look the same way to everybody. You know, you don't have to walk around in all black with long black hair to be depressed. Like these regular people, man, walking through life that get afflicted with this disease, and it's no joke, you know. And you know, unfortunately for Chester, you know, like we didn't get to him in time, obviously, you know. So it's a sad situation. And you had a guy that for the majority of his life was adored by millions of people and known by very few, obviously. So. You know, and it's kind of crazy because it seems to me that a lot of people probably had the assumptions that I had about Chester as a kid. Probably a lot of people had that same assumption about him, and because of that, you know, he didn't get the help that he needed.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Whereas maybe if he was a long, black-haired, mopey, you know, death metal singer, maybe he would have had, you know, more people around him that could have... You know, there's always woulda, coulda, shoulda, you know, in those situations, but this song right here is again the epitome of new metal because you had the rapper, you had the DJ, you had the 3.5 minute, you know, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You had the DJ, you know, the meaningless DJ. Like, why is he even in there? That has nothing to do with the song, you know. But you had the track suits, you know, like that. The multicolored hair, like that is the new metal template. Like, this is probably the most. The lyrics
don't go super deep. It's just we're talking about being close to the edge and you're gonna break.
Yeah, you know? yeah. This is like the Jonathan Davis actually did the remix to this one. Look, really? And look, One Step Closer, look how it's all misspelled. Remember I told you that? That's new metal. So, yeah, I mean, this is like the epitome of a new metal song. And I think Dorian would love this song. I haven't, like, played it to him yet, but I'm going to play it to him. Let's see if he likes it.
Yeah, probably.
I cannot take this anymore. Saying everything I've said before. All these words, they make no sense. I find bliss in ignorance. Less I hear, the less you'll say. You'll find that out anyway. So if the person is not listening to you, and you're about to look, which, you know, it's hard. You're talking and you don't feel like the person understands you. It's very frustrating. So it's a real issue. It's about, you know, communication probably. What are you thinking?
Well, it sounded to me like parents and kids.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're hitting that teenage period with the kids. So,
you know, 2 of them.
I don't really see Dorian doing this. Dorian is more of like a, hey, I need to talk to you, or he'll say like, we need some time, and then, you know, he'll say, but Zoe will feel this. Because Zoe's the one that's going to give you Zoe gives off the teenage attitude. Dorian really doesn't. He really does. Dorian's been the same.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
He's been the same. person. Since he was 7 or 8, he's the exact same person.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Mendacious, thinks he knows everything.
Yeah.
Demanding entitlement. He's always been like that. Whereas Zoe is like, who is this person?
Yeah, I know.
Like
Dorian said to her today, he goes, you remember when you used to be a ray of sunshine used to bring into our lives? She's sitting there with a miserable looking face. She just looks up at him. She keeps typing on her computer. I'm like, that was... Remember you used to be a ray of sunshine, used to bring happiness or something. And it didn't affect her at all. It just looked like
she doesn't give a damn.
Yeah,
she really doesn't. She legitimately does not care what you think.
She just kept typing. She looked up at him and she just gave him that look,
Oh yeah. There's so many times I'm like, man, I wish I had a camera or something on here, or a GoPro or something.
Oh, I know. Actually, then she gave the look again because I said they were saying that we should set up accounts for them and do automatic deduction for their chores. I said, no, I would never do that because you don't always do your chores well. Like, you're not always going to get it, your allowance. And then they said, well, what about Zoe? And I said, she's been doing a terrible job because she had to make our bed the other night. Well, last night, I got into the bed because you were already asleep. I came in, I crawled in, the sheet is right here. I couldn't pull it over. It was right down half my body.
God.
And the blanket was directly on the edge of me. I tried to pull it up. It was up to here. I'm like, so I said, she's been doing a terrible job on the bed. And then I explained that thing. And she just went, again.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck that you don't have your sheet and your blanket.
She really doesn't care. Yeah. I need a little room to breathe. Zoe's like that too. She needs room. She needs space.
She does.
She can't have people crowding.
Yeah, and she takes space. She goes and she'll take time alone, and I'll be go and I'll be are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I just want some time.
Get the fuck out of my room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's cordial at that point. She just wants her time.
I sounded cordial. Get
Do
the
you
fuck out of my room.
want? She doesn't. They don't do that. But she'll she'll take her time. She'll take some space.
Yeah.
It always surprises me when she does that because I was never that person.
I was always can't you have the guitarist say that? I'm one step closer. I'm about to break. Everything you said to me, I'm about to break. I mean, couldn't the guitarist have said that? Do you need another singer to do that? But
maybe it was his buddy.
It was just part of the gimmick. There was a lot of gimmicks in nu metal.
Oh,
there's 9 of us on stage.
Oh. Okay.
That could be accomplished with 5 people. Literally the exact same song.
Yeah, but how does that help you if you have to pay all those 9 people?
Well, I mean, we ran into that, right? That's why one of them is suing.
Well, yes.
Right? I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So it's would Linkin Park be completely affected as a completely different band if you didn't have that DJ?
Right. Probably not.
That's people going, shit, man, we need that scratch at minute 2.
We need that scratch.
We need that scratch
no, you're right. You
at
could
minute
do that.
2:11.
You could do that.
Oh, we need that.
But that was
we need that bear
that
cake. We need that bear cake sound at 3:14 in that song. Come on. It was just gimmicks.
The scratching thing, that was a big deal at it. I remember people talking about it. Again, I was like, what is that?
Well, as a person coming out of hip hop culture, I just grew up hearing that. That's all I heard.
Yeah.
All I heard was hip. It's all these people you've never heard of Queen? No, we never heard of no Queen. Listen to no Queen. What the hell are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Some kid from the Bronx is listening. Oh yeah, here's my Queen song. But I was coming up hearing scratching and DJ battles and turn on High 97 and all you're hearing is what? You know what I mean? That's all I heard. So then when I didn't even notice it when I started listening to this stuff.
Really?
Yeah. What it ended up happening was...
I mean, I didn't hear it when the song played, but...
What ended up happening was I was in, I forgot, some store in the Village on 14th Street in Manhattan, and they had this thing called Circus Magazine. And I don't even know if Circus Magazine is still around.
I remember.
And then they were talking about the hip-hop revolution. And I'm like, hip-hop revolution? So I'm looking, and then they said, I'm pretty sure it was this band where they talked about the DJ and everything. I'm like, or it was Korn or somebody, and they're like, DJ scratching, and I was like, what? And then I went back, and sure enough, I was like, oh shit, they're scratching. Okay, but I didn't even see it. I didn't even notice it because I just grew up listening to it, so it was completely, like, I didn't know. I was like, oh, yeah, there. I was like, and I called up Sharif. I was like, yo, Sharif, you know there's a DJ? He's like, nah, they don't got no DJ. I'm like, listen to the song. And I had to tell him what the timestamp was. He's like, well, shit, they have a DJ. I'm like, why? He's like, I have no freaking clue. But it was, it was all part of the gimmick and the image. Like, hey, we play guitars, but we're really hip hop. We're really, down with the struggle. It's like, okay, all right. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just didn't understand why. Now, to me, it's just really gimmicky. It's just like you're trying to project that you've got this sort of like confluence of hip hop and metal and
right.
There was not a lot of hip hop there. Just because you have a DJ that scratches, that doesn't mean you're hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But at the time,
other kids talking about it.
This song, like, really, and they came in,
look how many people are on there.
They came in, like, right in the middle, like, right smack in ground zero of the new metal hype, like 2000. That was like 2000. Slipknot. You had Korn with Woodstock '99, completely legendary performance, at least in my opinion. That was like at the pinnacle of new metal. So they came in at just the right time.
How long did they stay around for?
Linkin Park is still around. Like, Linkin Park is like one of like 4 or 5
How
bands.
do they do that without Chester?
Well, I think they're using your buddy, Rockstar. What's his name?
Post Malone?
Post Malone, yeah. I think Post Malone is
oh, really?
touring instead of Chester. I mean, it's never going to be the same, obviously, but Linkin...
Oh, it's one of those bands where
Chester's such a strong singer.
Where the singer changes.
That's like I said. I believe that Chester is probably the best vocalist during the nu metal era. As in, a person that could actually sing. I think he was the best vocalist, and so on the strength of that, they were able to continue.
Yeah.
And there were like 3 or 4 bands that made it out of the nu metal era, like, intact, still being a major band. And they were talented as hell. And then later on, you saw how talented they really, really were as the music kept going, and they kept evolving. Like, if we ever did a Darwin Week Part 2, you would see a massive evolution between...
no, we don't want people knowing.
Lincoln. Well,
this is going to be.
You'd see a massive evolution from the first one to the last Linkin Park song.
I see.
They evolved. They changed, and there were times when they made decisions where it was clear, like, Chester, you can really sing. Just belt it here. Like, he really. I'm very, very interested to see what the next record is, if they actually have one. But he really was. He was so talented that, like I said, I'm going to be very, very, very interested to see what they do, because
I thought that
I don't think it's ever going to be the same. But anyway, yeah, he sung Hallelujah in the
eulogy for Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell eulogy. Rest in peace to the big homie. But sad situation to lose the big homie, but it was really cool though, because he looked very, very young here.
Yes. Yeah.
And he it's, you could tell they were new and all that. And you take that stuff for granted, You take it for granted when you're young and you don't have, as many cares as you know, as you normally would have had. And it's crazy because I'm even looking at it in my timeline, because my timeline, this was out before 9/11, and 9/11 changed it changed everything for me. So, it's a real marker as far as like, forget loss of innocence, loss of a lot of things. So, so it's hard watching stuff like this when they're young and not getting sad, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? This was his dream. He lived his dream. He was very successful at it.
Never get to that point.
Yep, very successful at it. Very blessed at it. He blessed a lot of people. So just leave it at that. Rest in peace to the big homie. And what do you give the song?
I think I really like this one. I think this is going for a 9.7.
Yeah, this song I'm actually giving a 10. And here's my logic. If I was to make a new metal mixtape, this song would have to be on it. Like, one of the things they say about MVP Hall of Fame for the NBA and the NFL is that you cannot tell the story of the NFL without talking about this person. Uh-huh. It's like Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't tell the story of... So, I don't think you can tell the story of nu metal and not talk about this band, and particularly this song.
Okay.
Like, so that's why it's a 10 for me. So, not as a 10 as, like, I enjoy it and I'm going to keep playing it and stuff, because I'm not. But I think the kids will like it. I think Dorian... I'm going to be very curious. I'm going to play some of these songs and to the kids and see which ones they like and which ones
I think that we need to do the lyric video so we can see what they're saying.
Well, no, I agree. Not the head PE one, obviously.
Obviously. But this one, I'd be curious to see what Selah has to say about it. Shut up when I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, because you know when she's talking, she wants everybody to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, well, she's valid though because she's so small
and her voice is not loud.
Yeah, and she wasn't raised like the other kids. The other kids are just, it was like a jungle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you had to, you had to like assert yourself. Yeah. Whereas, you know, I agree.
Her and Johan were at the table today, and Johan was saying something, and you know how he gets real loud, and he like just started talking. She goes, "Hey, I'm talking." And I was like,
"Welcome to the jungle."
I started laughing, like kind of like not like a big noisy laugh because I didn't want her to know that I got like so much entertainment out of it. Dorian goes, "What?" I said, "Well, I mean, I think it's good for her to stand up for herself because I don't see her doing it, but you know, it's the easiest for her to stand up to Johan." You know?
All right, so what'd you give the song?
9.7.
Yeah, it's a 10 for me. Rest in peace to the big homie Chester. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.